regulator agencies have been doing so much, and for the NADs, it has been just bridging a gap of synergies, bringing in inputs, but now you are saying, no, this was no an overlap. It has brought institutional harmony. So I think we need to go in educational. You need to educate this committee that please, this is how we are going to be better, and this is how we have been losing, because even we haven't know what we are going to save as a country, and then if you recruit again, as you have said, how much is going to be? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me have Honorable Abed, Honorable Stella, Honorable Asinasi, Honorable Mumuza, my only Afande, then Honorable Jennifer, in that order.
Thank you.
Oh, my Sudir of Parliament, Honorable Roberto Migade.
Honorable Chair, the rules of procedure of the Parliament, Rule 118(2) stipulates, and I want to read. I can start with 1. A bill introduced in the House shall be accompanied by a certificate of financial implications issued by the Minister responsible for finance. Right Honorable Chair, I have with me something that is headlined the certificate of financial implication. But 2 says the certificate of financial implication issued under sub-rule 1 shall indicate the expense of revenue and expenditure over the period of not less than 2 years after the coming into effect of the bill when passed. Honorable Chair, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the expense of revenue and expenditure according to the rules. I believe that's what is making every member ask that question, what is going to happen? We cannot consider a bill when we are not aware about the details of the financial implication. I have read, I'm very surprised that the Minister of Finance decided we expect figures here, not a story. This is a story. You cannot sit in finance and write us a story. We want the figures, what revenue, what expenditure, so that we can compare with what has been existing. I believe it is the same. I'm only asking this question using the rules, but I've heard the members ask the same question. We want the Minister of Agriculture to go back to finance and give us the expenditure and the revenue. And Honorable Chair, you remember we insisted in the first meeting that we want the Minister of Agriculture. It has always been our protocol. Before we meet agencies, we first meet the Minister of Agriculture. And you required it on that day. The Minister was nowhere to be seen. No, you were invited there because your PS was with us. The PS started going in corridors, that is mobilizing ministers. You have 4 ministers. The PS was in corridors, Honorable Chair, because I attended. Yes.
I respect this committee. Whenever I am summoned, I come. If I'm unable, I reach to the chairperson. The story for last week, I was told, is that my team had come to appear before PAC, where I am not wanted. Then while here, some arrangement in Parliament changed, and they said, leave PAC, go to the committee. We didn't have any, we did not know prior, really. So I shouldn't be taken as if we snubbed the committee. Just to clarify that.
Okay, then, Honorable Chair, we asked the PS in that meeting that we want studies on which you based what informed you to make a decision that you want to rationalize agency A and leave the other. We want that study because we have been waiting for that information for the whole week. We haven't seen the information. What study did you base on to rationalize DDA? What study did you base on to rationalize Uganda Coffee Development Authority? And all the other agencies, the NADS, we want those studies so that we are informed. We are not going to go on the floor of Parliament and just say the team came and simply spoke to us. We must justify whatever we want to inform Parliament using those studies. Number two, number three, we asked the PS, did you do any benchmarking? Because we have in the region, for instance, Ethiopia. Ethiopia, they have ever rationalized the coffee and tea authority. And after a few years, they discovered that what they did was a catastrophe. They did a policy reverse. They went back, and even Kenya, here, our neighbors, they went back to having these agencies independently. Did you do any benchmarking? Because these are in the same region, and we are competing with them. Papua New Guinea, for them, they have even gone ahead. They have a minister in charge of coffee. Coffee and palm oil. There is a specific minister for that. That's how serious they want to take coffee and palm oil. So, do you have any benchmarking so that you lay it also on the table? Because it will inform us. So that we don't start to think that someone sat somewhere in the office and looked at some of these agencies, and when you don't like them, you just say this one will go, this one will go. Because we are working on behalf of the people of Uganda. We have, Chair, we have a history. And we want to learn from that history. We were here when people were advising government to take away UCB, privatize UCB. Now the president, we have had him several times, is looking for a bank for government. But we made a mistake and gave away our own bank with structures. I don't know who owns the Cham Tower, I don't know. Those were structures of UCB. Honorable Megadi is telling me, maybe they will inform us. Those who are in government, who are in executive, they should inform us. So, Honorable Chair, unless we are provided with information, we don't want to make mistakes. And we want to remind each one of us, this country is not only for us who are seated here. It is for our children, it is for our grandchildren. When you are making a decision, don't make a decision based on, because I'm going to be here the next 20 years old. There are others who are coming. That's why we found it there. Honorable Babiha, the one who did all the infrastructure which you people are taking away. This man is already gone. But he's the one who laid the foundation on which agriculture is. That gentleman from Toro. When we are making our decisions, we should look at Uganda now and Uganda in the future. I want to raise my case. Honorable Chair, the first document I want to see is a document according to Rule 1182, the revenue and expenditure. It is a very, very important document to inform this committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable Isodo Stella.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mine is not a long one, but I am so challenged. I'm not seeing the reasons for the rationalization coming out strong. And I'm also asking a question. Is this a brainchild of MAIF? This issue of rationalizing these agencies under MAIF, is it your brainchild or you've been influenced by external forces? I have just seen a structure here. In this structure, we are carrying the whole coffee development authority to become a division in the ministry. We are carrying CD, cotton to become a division. We are also carrying DDA. I look at it, when you look at the structure, it's already very heavy. We came from decentralization and we were enjoying the benefits of decentralization. We are going back to centralize. Minister, Honorable Minister, we are through chair. We are looking for money. You are even telling us this quarter there is zero allocation. My question is, as you carry CDO or coffee or the diary, are you carrying them with all their staff to become a division in the ministry? If you're not carrying all of them, what happens to those that you're not going to absorb? And this is our concern. I also put my voice to what Honorable Dr. Abed said. I did agriculture extension at master's level, but even if I do not understand accounts, how can you carry the statements from the defects of the law? Something like from the defects of the law. You carry them and you make me understand this is a financial implication statement. This will be brainwashing this committee. I also saw this structure. I don't know who produced it. It is not authored, but it is saying 2023. Where were we 2023 to discuss these agencies? And now we have 1 day to rush to the floor of Parliament. Who is fooling who? Is this your brainchild? If it is your brainchild, why the rush? Why are you giving us 2 days to analyze? What happens to these people who are going to lose their jobs? We are talking about losing jobs and then we are adding more work to the ministry. So I agree with other presenters. We are, as a Committee of Agriculture, we shall not be rushed. This is for our children and for our great-grandchildren. I beg to submit.
Honorable Asinas.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I thank the Minister for the statement. My name is Nyakato Asinas, the Shadow Minister for Agriculture. Right, Honorable Chair, the other day when I was as I was serving on the Committee of Natural Resources as the Shadow Minister for Energy, Ministry of Energy came up with the issue of REA, rationalizing it under the Ministry of Energy. And the same things that the Minister is telling us is the same reason that Ministry of Energy was giving us, that they wanted to cut costs, but they also wanted to be more effective to deliver on the issue of electricity. As we talk now, we are members of Parliament. We have not seen the electricity come to our constituencies. We have not seen the electricity come to our districts. And today, as we talk, REA is in court with government, the former staffs of REA. Reason being, government was not prepared for this process. They turned down the staffs. They never compensated because some of them, the staffs, their contracts were still running. They never accommodated some of those staff in the ministry. And the criteria under which some of the staffs were being accommodated in the ministry was based on technical how well you are connected with those people in the ministry. So my question to the minister is, do you want us to go back to the same process that the Ministry of Energy has caused this? Because all this cost goes to government. Government is the one to cater for all the costs of court. Then secondly, the other day we had the Minister of Fisheries here. She was crying under which the situation she's being treated in that Ministry of Agriculture, under that directorate. She was even telling this committee that even for her to get fuel to go to the field, she has to call her to reach out to well-wishers. If you're a member of Parliament, you have an issue in your constituency as far as the fisheries department is concerned, you have to facilitate the minister. And we well know that as Parliament, we allocate money for that directorate. So how well can the Minister of Agriculture convince this committee that if these agencies are incorporated under the ministry, they are going to be more effective, they are going to deliver, they are going to do wonders more than what they have failed to deliver today. Sadly, Madam Chair, the issue of tea. As we speak today, tea is under the Ministry of Agriculture. You can see right now the farmers have brought a petition to the Speaker. They are in the meeting with the Speaker over how the tea price has gone too low, from a kilogram of 7,200 shillings. Most of these farmers have mortgaged their properties to the banks to go into that business. And you will well know that it's only the government which takes their tea outside, not even normal local Ugandans. So, Madam Chair, they have failed to manage that sector of tea when it is under their ministry. They have failed to come up with a tea policy. They have failed to come up with a regulation. They have failed to come up with a law to help out these farmers from being exploited by some of the people who call themselves investors. So how well can they convince this committee that when some of these agencies, like coffee now, which has put Uganda as a country at a world level, almost number 3 in the whole world in terms of producing quality coffee, very good coffee, when it is under an agency, and an agency which has been given just Miyagi in the budget of agriculture. And finally, Madam Chair, as we speak now, I saw the budget framework paper. Almost 70%, which is about 1 trillion, it is external funding. As government of Uganda, ours is around 800 billion. The one we are allocating to the Ministry of Agriculture. Since we passed that law of homosexuality, most of the internal communities are pulling out their funding from Uganda. Can the minister assure this committee that the Miyagi 800 billion plus, and that's totaling to 1.8 trillion, that they are going to accommodate all these agencies, their staff and the others? And finally, he said when these agencies are being incorporated under the ministry, they will effectively deliver. They have failed to deliver on most of it, because now me as a member of parliament, it is just months when I've been attacked to these committees. In the agriculture sector being the major contributing factor economy to this country, when you go back to our districts, we cannot feel the Minister of Agriculture in our constituencies. Even when you have these minimal departments, directorates under your ministry, we have failed to see, for instance, the extension officers delivering. We have failed to see most of these government projects under the Ministry of Agriculture being delivered to our districts. So, Madam Chair, I beg, with due respect, for the Minister of Agriculture and the technical team to go back and think twice. Not everything that is resolved in cabinet is right. We hold it to the electorates, and I also believe that the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Frank Tumwewa, is also a member of Parliament, like many of us. Is personally held responsible to the electorates who elected him to give this process more time, because these agencies that we want to incorporate under the ministry are very key factors, key sectors, key agencies which has contributed big to this economy. And Madam Chair,
finally, Honorable, you have made your point.
I request that we strongly reject the certificate of financial implication which has been brought to us, because it's just a sketchy document, just a written letter, not even a certificate of financial implication. And also the government should give time to this committee to go and benchmark, so that we are informed, we give a very strong informed decision to why we should rationalize. I beg to submit, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable colleague, and I want to thank you for your prayer. This certificate of financial implication doesn't hold water. We are being courteous to our ministry. Otherwise, some committees have suspended their meetings because of this. There is nothing here. So we shall follow it to the root. Let's just, yes, Honorable Mumuza. Honorable Mumuza, then Honorable Afande.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to repeat what my colleagues talked about. I had an issue on tea, but Honorable Nyakato has mentioned it very well. I'm from Chenjojo, where we are tea farmers. As you heard, factories are closing, and the tea is under the Maif. So we are not getting a good answer from Maif how they are handling the tea. The fear, Honorable Minister, the fear most of us have and our people is how the Maif is currently handling things. If they are, as the Chair said, if they are struggling with the few things they have, if they are struggling with tea, what if we take their coffee? So those we have to assure us really, to satisfy us that where we are going, we are very safe. Otherwise, people have a lot of fear of moving from point A to B. To Madam Chair, we have a problem. For example, some few projects under Maif, like ACDP, we had them here some time back. People who were supplied in Maif 2-3 years ago have not been paid under ACDP. Even the projects under that program, some of them in the constituencies, we have been monitoring them in the districts. You find they are not performing very well. We were in Abim some time back. We saw we went out to launch a program. It's very dumb. Some 2021. We again went there this I think last year. But since we left that time 2 years ago, there was only groundbreaking. Up to now, 2 years later, no project. So if they are really too slow on everything, too slow on these projects under Maif, how are we sure that when we add them more work, how would they handle? We would all wish to be moving very quickly to Maif and enjoy the services. But the current fear we have that what we have so far, they are too slow and they are problems. Even under mechanization, we were monitoring what we saw. Madam Chair, you know everything. Then finally, maybe we have some, for me, my thinking would be that we have some under coffee, and you see they have been trying. So if we are seeing the tea is struggling, what about now the new emerging crops? We have some new emerging crops where the country would be making a lot of money. For example, we have apples. We have been importing a lot of apples in the country, and this country we can produce our own apples. We have macadamia. We have macadamia. We have cashew nuts. Some time back, the minister was promoting cashew nuts, Maif, but how they abandoned it. What happened, I don't know. So this issue of not being consistent with projects, with programs, you bring something, you introduce it, then you withdraw, you come back, not being consistent really. What happened to cashew nuts? Up to now we are importing cashew nuts. And this country can do a lot of cashew nuts in this cattle corridors, all of them, the same areas, even including Karamoja, they can do cashew nuts. Tanzania is supplying us cashew nuts here, and we are buying cashew nuts in the supermarkets, which are all imported, when you can easily produce them here so easily. So if my youth is not consistent with some projects, how are we sure now they will be consistent with what we will give them? We have the new house avocado now, the avocado industry. Madam Chair, I happen to be the chairperson of the Federation of avocado farmers in Uganda.
Please allow the member to submit.
For example, Madam Chair, Mexico alone, Mexico is earning $3.5 billion US dollars. 3.5, not million, but billion US dollars. This country has more land, land is fertile, good climate than even Mexico. Would be number one, would be getting 2 billion, 3 billion US dollars. But now we are a bit somehow comfortable that we are moving on with the new this year house avocado program. So our fear is if you go to the ministry, one of the minister, will my avocado survive, or it will also follow the issue of tea, whatever, and then it disappears. I thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable. Can I have Honorable Afande Sam Kavuma?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and your Vice, and all members of this committee. And I want to thank the Ministry and the Minister for their statement, although I hadn't come, but I think it was a good one. Madam Chair, you stopped us from repeating what other people have already mentioned.
I am going to allow the Afande to repeat.
But repetition means really emphasis, because these are same issues, and we need, by the time we take a decision, to really understand all of them. So we may sound repetitive.
I have opened up, Afande. Just make your point.
My point, my small 2 points are, this animal code rationalization began maybe 3 or 4 years ago, And my question wouldn't really very much go to the minister because he had not joined the same ministry, but at least he has the technical people who have been around. But I also trust his intelligence. He's very fast at grasping things. I wanted to know, apart from the cabinet decision, apart from any influence from anywhere, to understand whether you, the actors, the drivers of the Ministry of Agriculture, whether it was also part of your brain that this thing should happen, or it was imposed by some external forces, and you are here, we are all here to implement what was imposed. How do you see? Because like a colleague here did say, we had our ministries doing their ministries' work. Then all of a sudden, these authorities came on board. They have been running, their work. Then all of a sudden, we again go back, according to you, because we want honest, so that when we take a decision, we are with you. It's not about cabinet or parliament, but for us, we shall see. But, so I wanted actually to get that one from you, how you feel about it, whether you had detected this problem or whether it was imposed on you. The other point is, if we are to let some agencies go as proposed by the bill, how do you want us to do it? Can we wake up and put a deadline that by come next month 15th, everything should have been changed hands, or gradual, depending on the priorities, on the sensitivity of some of them, on the ongoing projects, we can say, yes, we allow the programs, but this is how we want it, gradual, Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable members, I will pick the others later.
Thank you, Chair. I would like the Honorable Minister to acknowledge, together with the members in this House, that some parts of this country are being misadvised to take on certain crops like tobacco that has lagged them behind. And in particular, I want to talk about West Nile. We are really misadvised. I've not mentioned who. Yeah, we were really misadvised, and the tobacco crop has done a lot of disservice to our people. Now that coffee, cocoa, and certain other crops have been introduced in this country, and West Nile has started impressing these crops, and now you want to bring coffee, or to repeal or merge or do away with the coffee and other crops that our people of West Nile have started impressing. I want to ask, are you doing this intentionally to let our people down, or to let them be in poverty constantly? Or why are you doing this to our people? Honestly, I thank you.
Information to her.
Yes.
West Nile farmers right now, they even have
Chair, Shadow Minister. Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I wanted to give her information that the West Nile farmers, they have a petition here over their tobacco payments, which has taken over 5 years. They have never been paid. And these companies, when they are coming they make MOUs with government that in case they fail to pay, government can be held personally responsible. So is the tobacco also under Ministry of Education. They are failing to do what? To agriculture. They are failing to do what?
Thank you. Honorable Roberto.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the Honorable Frank Tumewas I've known for some time. I know wouldn't support this rationalization in the way it is. The one I've known for some time.
Honorable colleagues, can we listen? I've also known him for a very long time.
But I know.
As a very principled person.
But I know